Gilbert and George have always loomed large in their own work. In the late 60s, soon after they left art school, they sprayed their faces gold, stood on plinths, and mimed along to Flanagan and Allen's Underneath the Arches. In the 1970s, they experimented with photography, and in 1977, as punk began to rage, they went around and took photographs of graffiti and derelict London buildings that were then combined together in what were called the Dirty Word Pictures. Now, as if to celebrate the silver jubilee of these works, they've all been gathered together and are displayed on the walls here at the Serpentine Gallery. How do you think the paintings have worn? Do they look as if they're historic pieces now?
No, we think they look as though they were made yesterday. I mean, we were amazed because there were young people seeing the pictures for the first time, and I think they see them as new for them because they never saw them before. And then you say, so how old were you in 1977? And they said, well, -4. So that's quite extraordinary that the issues discussed in the pictures are still relevant today.
But we always try to keep to look for the subjects around our house. That's what we always did. We never wanted to go to a different country to find the subjects. We believe that you can find them in front of our house, and we did that. Even the tramps that are drinking there are in fact in Fournier Street, sitting on the steps of the mosque.
Do you think that those words themselves are cathartic? People write on walls in order somehow to purge themselves?
We always say that sex, race, money, religion are the only things that people write about on the wall. Yeah? You never find on a wall somebody writing, I have just returned from a very pleasant holiday. It doesn't exist.
The one constant in your art over the last 35 years or so is that the two of you remain central. Why is that so?
We believe that we are writing visual love letters to the viewers of our art, and therefore every picture is signed. We in the picture is a kind of signature.
Even because we want to make our pictures in some way 3D, that we are in the middle of it, that we are participating in the subjects. We are always there, being part of it.
What function do the words specifically play in each of the pictures? Are they a kind of trigger to the way we might read them?
I think it's partly a celebration of the people who do that sort of writing on the walls, which is a very slim section of society that actually writes on the wall.
Do you think people are still as broadly as offended by those words or the idea of those words on an art gallery wall as they were in 1977, or have we changed since then?
I think the vast general public will embrace these pictures, but not the media, not the professionals. They still are nervous of that whole idea.
And so this is an early example of what you call de-shop. What do you mean by de-shop? Just explain that to us.
The classic example for the Dirty Words pictures is the picture Queer, which when we showed it in America first in 1978 or something,
86,
maybe shortly after, there were horrible moans and grumbles and complaints from the gay community, assuming that it was a negative picture, that it was accusatory and things. But 3 years later, you have Queer Nation was founded, and now everybody in Britain watches Queer Up North. And that way we robbed it back from the enemy.
What ambitions have you got left to achieve in London specifically?
We have lots, but I think our next ambition is to have a major retrospective like we've had in New York or Paris.
Where specifically would you like that show to be?
There's only one place in London where we could do a really major retrospective, that's at Tate Modern.
And it's quite nice that in fact you're celebrating the silver jubilee of your pictures in the same year that the Queen's celebrating her golden jubilee.
As we say to all the journalists, Her Majesty is not the only old Queen to have a jubilee this year.
Gilbert and George, thank you.
Great pleasure.
And you can win a signed poster, a Gilbert and George FC UK t-shirt and a catalogue from the exhibition by answering this question. In what year did Gilbert and George meet? Send your answers in to Artworks at LWT, 17 Hatfields, London SE1 8DJ, or simply log on to itv.com/LWT and look up Artworks. We've 3 sets to give away, and the winners will be drawn in a fortnight's time. And remember to put your size on your entry and state if you're male or female. Gilbert and George's Dirty Words pictures are on show at the Serpentine Gallery in London till the 1st of September.